is magical, and it happens overnight. But as you are well aware, some of you may think that I was born under a lucky star. No, I wasn't. I was born premature, almost 3 months premature, and I wasn't supposed to make it. And my lungs were a complete mess of mass, and I had broken windpipe. And but I apparently was a fighter, big fighter, and doctor said she's a medical miracle, and you can take her home, but she can't, take breaths. So what happens when you're late and you wake up, you go to cry, and I go, and I'd be passed out. So the first 2 years of my life, most of the time I was passed out. And my mom got to get her ironing, my dad to drive down, gas up the car, and go get some milk, and it was all great. And then my older sister, 7 years older, lovely Wendy, she was pissed off that I kind of broke her flow. She was the only one. I came along, and now my parents are so nervous about this Paula who can't stay awake. So Wendy was pissed, and she taught me, not knowingly, how to stop crying. She was sitting in the room, and she would provoke me to wake up. And when I wake up, she would make funny faces. And so instead of me going to cry, I'd start laughing. And laughing is exhaling. Isn't that crazy? And she taught me to laugh through anything. Even if my parents were spanking me, I'd laugh. If a teacher was mad at me, I'd laugh, which would get me in further trouble. But there was that belief in me. And then, I had some apparatus on my legs because my legs weren't formed right. The weird thing is that you have a destiny. I went on to play flute, which is respiratory, and I became first chair flautist, and always almost fainting doing that, and decided I wanted to dance. And everything about that, I picked the hardest things that just didn't seem natural for me, but I had heart and I had passion, and I wouldn't let anything get in the way. And I was a determined little attack hamster. I was, and I kept going and going. And I remember, winning talent shows in school. I never was the best at anything, but I knew how to present myself with my strengths and kind of cover up the weaknesses. And that was a part of me being, I guess, a choreographer at a very young age. I knew how things looked. I had photographic memory, so I could picture things in a happy way, how I wanted my life to be, how I wanted my text to come out, how I wanted to be friends with people. And I used that to my advantage. I didn't know that anyone did it differently. And so by the time I got out of high school, I was invited with another friend to do a summer program at Juilliard. And I was all excited because that's where the fame school, that's where people go to be famous. And I got so scared because I'm a Valley girl. I grew up here in Los Angeles, in the San Fernando Valley. Practically nobody does. And so I decided not to go to Juilliard. I was a California girl, and I thought, well, my friend's going to Juilliard. She's going to have a career, and I don't know what I'll do. But, I was really happy being a teacher. I was always a teacher. I taught dance, I taught cheerleading, that's how I met Cindy, and we're going to meet, and her son's right there. And she became a Laker girl, and she invited me to go to tryouts. And that was the day that I was told no, and then the third time yes, in the same day. Kind of didn't make it. One of the cool things about no is you have to come up with a way to change that answer. Sometimes you don't get a chance to, but no one can tell you no to be your own mastermind. Like for me, I bring extra change of clothes, and extra, at the time, hair scrunchies. How many girls still wear hair scrunchies? You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, I created that hairstyle, palm tree on top of the head. I'm not very proud of it, but it was a big trend. I changed my leotard, I changed my tights, put my hair on a different side, and entered as my nickname. And then that didn't work. I had I went into my office, which was the bathroom, and installed it. So I do a lot of my negotiating with my own self and how I'm going to change it. And I put on, for the third attempt, a red and white striped leotard with blue leg warmers and a headband. And I went up to the front. And I danced very tall. And the third time was a charm. You have to believe in yourself. It's not, you know, for me, my weaknesses are I'm short. In my mind, I'm 7 feet tall, but I am apparently short. I'm told that a lot. Well, if you're short, you got to do things to make yourself notice. So you have to go to the front, and you have to be able to be bold and daring and unique enough that you're going to make a difference. And even if you fall, or even if you mess up, or even if you embarrass yourself, it's the way you get out of that embarrassment. It's the way you get up from that fall. You do it with grace and dignity, you're remembered. For whatever reason, I was remembered and I got selected, and I was so excited. And from that point on, after that year, at that first year, I became a choreographer. And I am a big believer. Have you heard of the phrase, go for the lowest hanging fruit? Have any of you heard that? What that means is, you know what? It's the path of least resistance. Everything that is presented to you is a gift. You can make anything. If you have poop, you can make it into the biggest poop souffle that everyone's going to like if you want. Okay? And it's up to you. And that's the point being is that the lowest hanging fruit for me was I was a cheerleader now. The big side of it was I was a Laker girl, and that was exciting. And my father could come to the games, and I got to be on the floor. I didn't know much about basketball, but I learned. And I made a difference, and I made the girls into a dancing team. And from that, I got noticed, and I started getting jobs with different companies to do industrial jobs, and then commercials. And then my first real big job from being a Laker girl. And by the way, you can fudge some things. You know, I was supposed to be 18, I was 17 and a half. No big deal. When I was 18, I was 18. And when this started happening, my first call for a big job was the biggest musical family, the Jacksons. The brothers were season ticket holders at a Laker game. And their choreographer, oh, by the way, it was a big time. They were doing their first reunion tour with Michael, the whole group. It was a victory tour, and it was going to be a huge announcement. And I got the job. They didn't know that the girl who was the Laker girl out there was the girl who did the choreography. They asked the front office at the Laker organization who does the choreography, and they said, go ahead, Paula, Abdul. So when I met with them, they went, you're the girl. I am the girl. I'm the girl in front. By the way, also being a Laker girl was really intimidating because the distance of you was, and me, with my ready, okay, ready to go, 5, 6, 7, 8, you were Jack Nicholson. You know what he'd do? He would be right in the front there, this distance, and put his binoculars up. How uncomfortable can that be? He did it to mess with me. But the coolest thing is that I started working with the Jacksons. I choreographed their tour, their first music video, and from that, I started working with Janet Jackson. And Janet was an amazing student, and I got to be an amazing teacher. I truly believe that if you really want to make it and have sustainability, you have to keep yourself open as a student till the day you leave this planet. If you stay open as a student, you are definitely going to become the best teacher. And when you become a best teacher is never afraid to give everything to teach those who are willing. A lot of teachers I've met become territorial and they go, well, I'm not really going to teach you my real secret stuff because I don't want anyone to take that. See, I learned you let it free. When you let that free, you become the best student because it keeps coming back to you. Your creativity never ends. When you start limiting yourself, you are closing yourself off from all the possibilities that can come your way. So it's reciprocal. If you're a great student, you become a great teacher, and you get back to being the student, the teacher. It's a wonderful gift. Don't ever be afraid, well, it's my best stuff. I don't want anyone to take it away, because talent smells scarcity. Talent smells scarcity. And if they smell that scarcity, they're going to go to another teacher. You want to keep the beautiful students and teach them well, because they teach you, and you stay the student. You understand what I'm saying? It's a little tricky, but it works. Okay, well, I've always maintained that, and because of that, I've had longevity in a career that's not forgiving. It's not a nice career. It's not a nice business. It's not for the weak. But somehow, the universe and God, I truly believe, has blessed some really nice, kind people to exist in the world and a career that doesn't really accept that. See, I've got a disease, and it's called, you're too kind, you're too nice. And I say, get over it. It's not a disease. You can be kind, and you can be nice, and you can be giving, and you can be caring. But don't ever expect that that's the way you're supposed to be treated, because the world doesn't work that way. You learn to surround yourself with people of like mind. You learn to surround yourself with people that are also kind and talented and operate in the same playing field as you, and that's really important. And because I've always believed in myself, even when I don't believe in myself, I choose to, because the other way, it's not fun. And you know, I don't. When I want to stay in and say, I'm just not going to go on. Why do I have to interview one more time? They keep saying no, and they keep saying no. It's that one time that I decided to pull the sheets over my head. I stop and I go, damn it, that could be the day it turns into a yes. Just don't do it. All I can say is that you learn so much from every interview you go on. When you put yourself out there, and you put yourself out there, you've got to walk with an air of confidence. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. And it's interesting, throughout my career, which, it's a long talk, though. We don't have days. I've had 5 different careers that have hit the stratosphere. Luckily enough, and blessings aside, I've had so many different careers that are separate and distinct from each one that I've had to reinvent myself, which I want to get into, because a lot of people don't understand how do you do that. But I just want you to know that if you do put yourself out there and you do believe in yourself, people can see that and they believe, why not? When I was doing American Idol, and there would be tons of kids that would go, hey, Paula, I just want you to know, they cut me off. You know, I was with my father in line, and they cut me off, like 10 people in front of me, and we slept overnight. I said, I'm so sorry. I go, can you get to another city? Well, no. I said, are you good? Are you good is the simplest question. That's 3 words. Are you good? What do you do? What do you do? And what do you want to do? You want to be a good writer? And where do you want to write? What do you want to write for? Are you good? I believe you. Sometimes, very, very small percentage, I'm wrong. But if you have the confidence and you believe in yourself, that's 3/4 of the battle. I believe you. How many people can answer that they're really good? And you believe it? That's 3/4 of the battle. How many of you feel, I'm good, but I'm like, I don't want to feel like I'm conceited saying that? And that's okay. That's half people too. That's where you have to say, it's okay. And you have a right to say, I am good. That's not being conceited. Don't be shy about it. You're working hard. You know you have talent. You've got to own that. Because if you own it, then you're going to go in and you're going to sell yourself not as a fraud, but as a real deal. And when the teacher sees that the student is really great, then the teacher wants to help teach the student, and the student is going to own up and deliver to the teacher, and then I become the student. That's how it works. So if you are good, And truth be told, if you are good, you believe in yourself, you gotta go for it, and you cannot get down when the answer is no. No is necessary. It is critical that you get turned down. Because if everything was easy, you would never be grateful for the times that you score a big win. And remember that not everything's about home runs. Base hits are more important. Do you believe that? Base hits get more runs. Home runs are chances in a lifetime, and you celebrate them and you go for it, you're excited, but base hits are more important. Don't be, well, I didn't hit it out of the ballpark. Yeah, but you got, look at Michael Phelps, okay? You know, look at Michael Phelps. The truth is that, yeah, I'm sure he was bummed that he got a bronze, but that's what happens. You get bummed, but you're in the Olympics, man. Well, but he's been getting golds. He got a bronze, big deal. At the end of the day, would his win and breaking records and making history be better if he got all golds? Sure, for him, but for America, it doesn't matter. We won. We won. Celebrate all of your little successes, because little successes are huge. Be grateful every step of the way for the negative. Be grateful that someone, for instance, I live in a world where there's nothing that I can do private. So all of my successes and all of my past failures, I don't believe they're failures. I don't believe that there's anything I did that failed. Whatever anyone else may perceive, I don't believe they're failures. And I also don't believe that there are winners and losers. I truly believe that everyone has the winner mentality in them. Some just give up a little too soon.